So the other thing that our culture does a really poor job of is letting young people know when they're adults. At around age 17, we're asked to make a choice about our own education, to choose a college. We are leaving home, which is a huge paradigm shift. And we're also moving from adolescence into adulthood. And it's really important that as we make this huge shift, there are three big crises that are happening right at this time, that we understand that we're making a radical shift from being a child and dependent on our families and moving into adulthood. And what we do as a culture is we say, don't worry about that. Just finish high school and then choose a college, and then you'll go to college and somehow that will happen. And it's too important a transition to leave that to chance like that. We kind of ask young people to just muddle along and you'll find your way. And another important thing that's happening developmentally is right as you're leaving home, if you do this normal path, you trade in your parents the roof of their house for an institution that's going to clothe you and feed you and tell you what's important to learn. And something very important developmentally is lost here, because you don't really have a chance to step fully into your own sense of belonging in the world, your sense of relationship between yourself as it moves into the world and the world itself. So we really think that it's a very, very, very good idea to shift the educational environment for a time. And all of our programs do that. So every Leap Now program has a number of elements in common that really set them aside from other programs you might find out there. One is choice. We really feel that it's important as you're making a transition from adolescence into adulthood that you have choice, that you can begin to choose your own educational environment. Since 1977, we have gathered over 6,000 internship possibilities all over the world. These are work exchanges, apprenticeships, internships that range from working with baboons in South Africa to working with the UN in Geneva to working with midwives in various parts of the world to doing work with artists and artisans. So in every program you have a choice about what you're doing, so that you can begin to enter into a conversation with the world about who you are and how, what really brings you alive in your work. We use the word juicy. Education should be juicy, and too often education is not. So, I can't think of anything more interesting than learning, but that's something that most people have forgotten by the time they reach 17, 18. School is something to be suffered through, which is a sad thing. Another element that's really important that's built into all of our programs is time for reflection. Time before a program starts to really think about who we are as a traveling community, set your intentions for the time that you want to be gone. And then most every other program that I know of doesn't give time after a program to really reflect on what you've learned. And so we traveled to India for 10 weeks, and it would be a real shame if we didn't spend time digesting that afterwards. And a lot of our learning in life happens after an experience, when we actually have time to reflect. We have a focus on living consciously throughout. All of our programs are substance-free, drug and alcohol-free, and we really feel it's important for young people to learn how to live without additives for a period of time and discover how glorious life can be without having to reach for something to numb out your experience of life. And then we have guidance built in, where we're looking at conscious community, conscious communication, learning to listen, and fostering a deep sense of emotional literacy. And in our Leap Year program, for example, at the end of the program, our students come out with an emotional literacy of what a normal 30-year-old American has developed over time. But we've really focused systematically on that, particularly in our Leap Year program. I'll talk more about the Leap Year program in another talk, but Leap Year is our one-year program, and it's very much focused for people who really want to know who they are. So there's a very intense inner journey and 6 months of travel abroad, both in a group setting and individually. And our Ring of Fire program really meets a need out in the world for programs that really take care of the developmental needs of young men. It's very difficult these days to grow up as a young man and feel good about yourself. And our Ring of Fire program is really designed to help young men with that. And then our One Revolution program is really radical exposure to the world, 3 continents in 5 months. And there's quite a magical process that happens as you go to Latin America and Asia and Africa and really get a sense of the cultural differences in each of those parts of the world and how that reflects on your own culture and your own self. And then finally we have a Deeper Waters program, which is really designed as a great leap forward for people, for adults, so that you can come in and take 3.5 months of your life and move your life forward in some way that's really important to you, both internally and externally. And please take a look at our taped talk about Leap Year if you'd like to hear more about that program. Thank you.